Alright, this rack is really different. Here's why. This rack is probably the least expensive rack you can get. With a ramp. Let me tell you more. So first, you might be thinking, why do I even need a ramp? Well, if you haven't noticed, bikes have gotten kind of heavy lately, especially the new Specialized Levo R. So bike companies have been adding ramps to their rack. However, usually you're either paying a small fortune extra for that ramp, or you end up buying the most expensive rack available. So this rack at the time of film was $280. So for it to come with a ramp, that's kind of a big deal. So let me show you how well it works. So at the end of each tray, there's these two little tabs right here that line up with two little hooks on the end of the ramp. So you line up the hooks, flop it into place. Then you just roll the bike straight up the ramp. Just like that. Pretty straightforward. And after the bike's loaded, pop it out, secure your straps. Then that bike ain't going nowhere. So if you thought the ramp wasn't cool enough already, let me show you some more features. So this rack has what OutfitR calls the easy tilt. And so what it basically is your tilt lever is actually right here. So you pull this pin to unlock it. Then you hit the grab handle. Set the rack down. Because when I leave stuff in my trunk, inevitably, I can still get in my trunk. Now, this is a really nice feature because, other racks I've tested, such as the One Up Heavy Duty, that one's in an awkward spot, and you have to crank down that knob so it doesn't come loose. Alan, in the last OutfitR rack that they sent me, had a pin on the hitch, and that was kind of awkward to use. And even Kuat, which is a very expensive name brand, even their pivot's kind of in an awkward place too. So it feels kind of like a premium feature to have the handle all the way at the end. Then you just push the rack back up and it locks in place already for you. A lot of racks wobble quite a bit, and so does this one. Just kidding. So, a lot of bike racks, anti-wobble's turned off right now, and this thing kind of goes all over the place. So, let me show you how to engage the anti-wobble to make this a little bit better. This bolt right here is going to pull the receiver all the way to one side of the hitch so it doesn't wobble. So I'll give this a couple cranks, and that should stabilize it quite a bit. Alright, that should be good there. Alright, much more stable. So number one, the anti-wobble works. The issue I have with it is, in my opinion, it takes a little too long to wind up. Now, it's just a really long threaded rod with a hole for a cotter pin at the end. So for me, it takes about 7 minutes to wind that all the way in, compared to Allen rack, which has bike racks at a similar price point. They just have a big triangle at the end that you turn, and that stabilizes it in 20 seconds. So I'd really love it if, this rack had a stabilization that took less time to wind up, because this is not a rack I want to be taking on and off my car daily. This is more of a rack that I'd put on my car and then just leave it there for the whole summer. If you're someone who just likes to leave the rack on the car for the whole summer, it's not really a big deal. Because it does do a good job stabilizing the bikes. I'd have zero qualms about taking this on the highway. It's perfectly stable enough. I'd trust it to drive at max capacity. Now, with that anti-wobble engaged, this thing has a carrying capacity of 200 pounds. So me plus the bike, we're pretty close to 200 pounds. The car behind me is rated for 500 pounds on the hitch. So let's see how stable it is. Yeah, that feels pretty stable. Now with that 200 pound capacity, that's plenty of carrying capacity for your e-bikes, your e-motos, your Surons, or maybe even a small dirt bike if you're only carrying one. But anyway, 200 pounds, it's plenty. It's gonna carry whatever e-bike or really any bike you have. Even if you have an old clunker Schwinn that weighs 8 bajillion pounds, this will carry it too with no problem. All right, now that you've seen most of the features of this rack, I'm gonna go for a ride. And when I come back, I'll tell you what I think. Oh yeah, I brought 2 bikes to make the video, but I can only ride 1 bike. So that's why this one's going in the trunk. I forgot my Allen key to move my seat. Oh, I lost my digital tire pressure gauge, so measuring tire pressure with my heart. All right, back in a bit. All right, I'm back from my ride, and I have a couple more thoughts for you. Number 1, I really like this rack, and I think I'm gonna keep using it throughout the summer. I really love how it grabs the bikes nice and low and nice and high, so then the wheels don't wash out and the bike doesn't really wobble that much, even when I'm going 50 plus miles an hour. You know, the ramp is really convenient because I just got to the end of the ride today, and it's hot, and I'm tired, and I'm hungry. Really nice to just kind of do bare minimum effort to get the bike onto the rack. And also for that reason, I think I'll continue using the rack throughout the rest of the summer. The anti-wobble works better than I thought it would. The way it works is it draws the receiver all the way to one side of the hitch, so then it really can't move side to side or in and out. This rack is definitely going to be a part of my daily life, since now that I have a fat bike and my dad has a fat bike, so kind of need a rack with a little more tire clearance. So for that reason, I'm probably going to be using this rack quite a bit. I really love that the tilt handle is all the way at the end of the rack. I find this really convenient because most of the other racks I've used or sold at the bike shop, the tilt releases kind of in an awkward spot, so you're always bending over or reaching under to tilt the rack, and it's really nice that this one's all the way at the end. The big issue I have with this rack is the way the anti-wobble works. It takes forever to wind that thing all the way in. I would honestly like either a shorter bolt so it takes less time to wind it up, a smaller bolt head size so I can use my socket set to crank it down, or just make the hole big enough where I can just put a normal hitch pin through it and not even deal with the anti-wobble. If you're the kind of person that just likes to put the rack on the summer and just leave it there for the whole year, that's really, the anti-wobble isn't much of an issue. One of my customers, he bought a rack similar to this, and he just put it on the back of his Blazer, and he plans on leaving it there till the end of the summer. So if you're the person who likes to leave the rack on for the whole year, it's not much of an issue. If you like this video, remember to like and subscribe. If you want to buy this rack, there's a discount code in the description, so you get a little bit, so I get a little bit of a kickback for making the video, and then you get a little bit of a better price on this rack. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.